What is up, bros? Me, Josh here, bringing you a quick video on the upcoming line for World of Warships, the Royal Navy cruisers. Now, these are live, well, they're soon at TM live on the public test server right now. So if you guys want to join the public test server or never have, you can actually get some free stuff as well, some flags, some premium time. I will leave a link in the description down below on how to join the public test and how to get into it, at least how to kind of check these out. Now, we've seen these with the latest line, the German battleship, where they did a soon TM almost on everything, but the Royal Navy cruisers are at least in the game, so that's awesome. That means they're being tested right now. That means they've at least been modeled and they're good to go, and you get to kind of see everything. So they have 1 through 10, so let's kind of dive right in. The Black Swan is the tier 1. Like, I may slaughter some of these names going through the line, guys, but I will try my best to pronounce it as well as I can. So the Black Swan, it's a tier 1. It's gonna be pretty similar to the Katori, or was it the Hashidate? No, the Hashidate. Well, Katori is now taken over. I'm seeing a lot of similarities. It's going to be around with propulsion and everything. Let's get back to the Royal Navies. Now, the Black Swan, 4,300 propulsion, 4,300 horsepower. So that means it's going to be right around 19 knots or so, so decently fast. It'll actually probably be one of the slowest tier 1s, but like I said, it's tier 1. Probably going to end up being right around 9 kilometers or so, 102 millimeters. So going to be kind of basic, really, I guess, similar to the Hashidate. So looking at it, it's going to have 3 doubles. Now, this line, I am assuming from what I've kind of seen so far that these are going to be kind of a fire heavy and often kind of thing. I'm getting the feeling of a lot of Atlanta style play when going on it. So the Black Swan, the tier 1, pretty simple. It's a tier 1 you'll get through really quick anyways. You may even be able to free XP if you want it, but I'm assuming it's going to be a lot like the Hashidate, the Japanese tier 1. So let's jump to the Weymouth, something like that. I'm probably slaughtering it, so people who can't pronounce it, I apologize. But we're looking at 22,000 horsepower of propulsion, so now we're actually getting some speed with these ships. 2 gun upgrades, and this is the first hull upgrade, bumping right up to 152 millimeters. So these guns are going to start doing a lot of damage. This is looking like a pretty decent ship already, for especially at a tier 2. So I'm kind of liking that. Like I said, 2 B hulls. We got the kind of the same style of guns as the tier 1. And looking at the guns, there's a single. We got 1, 2, 3 on each side, 1 in the back. So no matter what, it looks like we're looking at 5 shots on each side, no matter what. So that's actually pretty nice. No torpedoes on this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So no matter where you are, front, you're going to be getting at least 3. Looks like we got 1 gun on each side, so that's actually pretty sweet. So the and it doesn't really show what, I guess it does show the armor layout. So decent armor on this as well, at least protecting the guns. Like I said, it's a tier 2. You're gonna get through it pretty quick. I'm excited to kind of see, like I said, the reloads on these. We can't see that. We can't see any range or anything. But for a tier 2, so far it's looking like it's going to be a relatively good ship. 5 shells going out at once, assuming you have a decent angle on your broadside. Most likely 4 if you're keeping a pseudo-defensive stance. But should be relatively good for a tier 2. The Weymouth? Let's just go with that. So the Caledon is the tier 3. Now we're actually going to start getting some, it looks a lot like a Tenryu actually. Now that you kind of look at it. Looks like we're going to start getting some actual protection from the Citadel. Looks a lot like a Tenryu. Looks a lot like a little baby Krispy Kreme almost, the tier 5 Russian premium. Now I know I said that not the exact way, but this is the first one that will be getting torpedoes, so I'm kind of excited for that. I'm hoping that they're long range like the Kuma. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guns, no matter what, so looks like they can shoot any direction, so that's kind of nice. Gun upgrade, or range upgrade, 40,000 horsepower for propulsion. Torpedoes, though, I'm excited for that. Looking like we have 2 sets of 2 on each side. Yep, 2 sets of 2 on each side, so that'll be kind of nice. Bumping out some more aggression with the torpedoes. Maybe the ability to, I'm trying to see if there's maybe like a swing torpedo anywhere. It doesn't look like it. Got some AA right there as well. Like tier 3 won't have too much AA to really show. I guess there really aren't too many tier 3s with that good of AA. 2 hulls still staying with the 152s, but like I said, looks like we're going to have a relatively fast ship with some torpedoes. I hope they have some decent range. Maybe like the Kuma. We'll kind of find out. Let's move on to the tier 4, the Dana. That's what I'm going to call that, I guess. The Dana. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. So let's check out the armor really quick. Looks like we're still keeping some relatively strong Citadel armor at 76 millimeters. Still looking. This is where you gotta want some war protection when it comes to armor, and these things are kind of. I mean, it's only tier 4, but you're not really seeing too much. The guns are protected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guns shooting at full broadside, so that's actually pretty nice for a tier 4. Looking a little bit like a Phoenix almost. Maybe, yeah, Phoenix Kuma mix in, I guess, right there. Now, 2 styles of torpedoes, so maybe these ones be doing a little bit more damage, maybe the damage trade-off for the distance, or maybe even a longer distance, so maybe it goes from a 5 to a 7, or a 7 to a 5, but more damage. Be kind of interesting to see what kind of torpedoes they do. Range upgrade, sticking with 40,000 horsepower of propulsion, 2 hulls, and then of course staying with the 152. So I think the 152s go throughout the entire line. So that means hopefully fast firing. Like I said, it looks like these guys might go, and it looks like 2 sets of 2 as well on these torpedoes. So hopefully relatively quick reload as well. Maybe like a torp heavy cruiser line. I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting actually. More like a destroyer style. Like I said, we don't really see too much else upgrades. I don't really see any of that. But no, this looks like it's gonna be a fun tier 4. Torpedoes and guns. Hopefully they shoot fast at 152, so it should be pretty competitive. Let's jump to the tier 5. This is where we get in kind of the meat and potatoes of the line, tier 5 and up. The Emerald. So the Emerald is looking pretty beefy a little bit. We got a little bit of armor to protect ourselves. And what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 1 on each side, and then the 5 and 6. So you got 6 guns again, sticking with the 152s continually. So we got a hull upgrade, a torp upgrade, a range upgrade, and now we're bumping up to 80,000 horsepower. So I hope these are kind of fast. I'm liking the lines that they have kind of been pushing out recently, or the ships. They play differently, and this is the first one you're going to be getting a spotter plane as well. So either a spotter plane or a fighter plane, most likely spotter plane. We can't see it right now. So then hopefully maybe pump out some early pressure. Let's look for some torpedoes. We got 1 set right there. Looks like 2 sets of 3 on each side. Let's just check the other side really quick. 1 set of 3 and 2 sets of 3. So 2 sets of 3. So now we're getting some triple torpedoes, which is kind of nice. And let's see how much AA we got. We got some AA around here, some secondaries even. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how this line. We got some AA right there. This should be kind of interesting. The first ones we really seen maybe some secondaries. But we'll see. Hopefully this line is relatively strong. I hope it plays. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect. I just hope it plays differently. But regardless, though, you got a few guns to be pointing at the enemy. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No matter which side you're on. 5 they're gonna go each way, then 1 on each side. So that should be kind of nice. You got some protection right here. 76 millimeters still, but for tier 5, looking pretty good. I'm excited to see how fast this ship is. Going even back to the Dana really quick. This is the first real big like kind of size. I mean, checking out the Dana and then going to the Emerald. It's almost like double the size, maybe 1.5 or so. So it should be kind of interesting. Now let's go to the Leander. That's what I'm gonna call it. Leander. Still staying with not too much protection right here. Looking about the same size. You have some double turrets. This is the first one with the double turret. So that's the armor. You're most likely going to get either a catapult or a fighter plane on this. But this is the first double, and I think it stays with this throughout the rest of the line. So you got 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And we have quads now. We do have quad torpedoes. So 1 quad torpedo on each side. Range. So this must be a smaller, lighter ship because now it's bumping down to 72,000 propulsion. Staying with the 152s. We're still rolling with the torpedo upgrade, hull upgrade, and the range upgrade, so 1 upgrade each. Hopefully, we're seeing a bit more AA. I'm liking that. Hopefully, this may put up a challenge to the Cleveland, maybe asking, saying, "Hey, let's go. Which one's the top AA?" So this is looking like maybe a fun ship at tier 6. I hope there's some more good, fun tier 6s. But same with the 152s. Hopefully some decent range on this, but with the armor right now, it's looking pretty fragile. There's not that much really armor, although it is 100 millimeter, but everywhere else there isn't much. So maybe a lot of pen damage, but maybe not a lot of citadel damage. We'll see. We'll see. So we got 100 millimeters finally, so we got a little bit more defense there. Let's go to the Fiji, the tier 7. Now, tier 7 is getting a bit smaller. Look at the Fiji, the frontal armor right there. Look at all those lifeboats. That's actually pretty cool. So we're getting some 114, so a bit more citadel protection, so that's kind of nice, especially for any kind of cruiser. A bit smaller. I like the flag right there. Looking like a decent amount of AA as well. Let's look. We have quads still. One set of quad on each side. Quad torpedoes. Look at all those lifeboats. That's actually pretty cool. I like that they put details in. Oh, and this is the first one with triples. Cool. Alright, so wow. Wow, that's a lot of shells going out right now. Holy smokes, 12 shells? Is this going to be... Maybe this is like in Atlanta? 12 shells going out at once? Okay, so what that means, a lot of shells, either really fast reload at a terrible arc, an Atlanta-style arc, or really slow reload with a bunch of shells going out. So I'm interested to see what the tier 7. This ship looks pretty cool. The one thing I am noticing is this is a very, very, very flat and high side. This is sitting very high up in the water. I mean, comparing it to the Leander, I guess that's relatively flat too. But that's a high sitting ship, and there's a lot of area to hit right there. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Very cool looking ship, but triple turrets, that's pretty badass, honestly. Some A right there as well. Quad turrets. So we got 80,000 propulsion. We got the range increase, a torpedo increase, and a B hull, sticking with the 152. So pretty interesting. This is looking like a very interesting ship. I hope it does well, but I'm scared about how high it's sitting up in the water. Battleships love. I mean, compare it to like the Indianapolis. Indianapolis is very high set in the water, and it gets citadeled very easily. Pensacola and New Orleans, kind of the same thing. So we'll see if they have a lot of trouble with the lack of armor in a bunch of other areas. We're looking at maybe lots of pen damage, not so much citadels, but pen damage on cruisers is going to chunk it out pretty quick. So bumping to the tier 8. Tier 8, really cool looking ship with triple turrets again. Man, maybe they're going to stick with triple turrets. This is looking really cool. This is a cool looking ship already. Very beastly. And I'm trying to find... Oh, there's the quads right there. Are they quads, or are they going to go to 5 torps? Looks like just a one set of quads. I won't be missing any. Man, lots and lots of lifeboats. That's kind of cool. So sticking with the 152, still 80,000. Range increase, 533s throughout. So these are the Mark 9s still. We're getting up to the Mark 9s. Started, I think, at the Mark 5s at the lower tiers. And a hull increase. Still 12 shells. What is it saying? Either high rate of fire with terrible arc, or low rate of fire, relatively strong arc, but slow rate of fire. So you're going to get kind of maybe that Karov style, maybe a long range. I think with how this is looking, though, this is, like I said, this may be the line of the Atlantas. The one thing that if we do get into that, the range is going to cause a problem, because in higher 9, 8, 9s, and 10s, you're going to run into some trouble being... That arc is going to be really hard at like 13, 14, 15 plus kilometers. So I'm interested to see. It's probably going to be more like a Cleveland arc, maybe. That's still very doable, even with the back when AFT affected it, and it was like 16, 17 kilometers. You could still hit stuff, but the arc was a bit tough to judge sometimes. Hopefully it's not as bad as the Atlantas, because if you go out really, really far, if you've ever used a higher tier USN DD with AFT and shooting at max range, you're only hitting something that's stationary. Other than that, it's like you're leading a target by 20 seconds travel time. It's pretty insane. Although 12 shells, that's pretty freaking cool. So jump into the tier 9, the Neptune. We're still at the Mark 9Ms for the torpedoes, so that's kind of cool. Flat ships, man. The tier 9. This thing looks like a badass ship though. Something like from the future almost. So sticking with the triples, 12 shells going out at once, pretty cool. Some decent secondaries, actually, some actual stationary secondaries, so that'll be kind of cool. Now more torpedoes, so 2 sets of 4 on each side. Man, these things, this is looking beastly. This is looking beastly, man. This is a cool looking ship. Maybe radar. Maybe some really strong AA. I mean, there's AA kind of all over this place, all over the place. So maybe that means really good AA. Maybe they'll challenge the Baltimore for being an AA thing, AA ship. 110 horsepower propulsion. Gun upgrade to the Mark 9s Mod 2. We got the Mark 9s, the Mark 9M, the Neptune B hull, so it's gonna have a B increase. and sticking with the 152s. Let's check out the armor really quick. A bit more protection at 102s. Now the entire thing is kind of protected, and the guns are kind of protected, so that should be kind of nice. But this is the kind of thing I'm worried about. That's a lot of pen damage coming through. These things might be really, really fragile. So we'll see. I mean, 13 millimeters isn't really too much to protect you from anything, honestly. So maybe a lot of AP damage is going to kind of beat these up. So these might be kind of a hide and poke and prod and annoy ship more than a let's get up in front with the big 203s and kind of blast it like a at the same tier like a Runewood or a Baltimore maybe. But this ship's looking really cool. I like the look of this the ship at least. But like, again, sitting very high in the water, very flat. Tends not to be the best for cruisers. You want that low line area for everything to shoot at. So jumping to the tier 10, the Minotaur. Looks pretty similar, but one thing I did notice was 5 doubles, so it goes from triples. So you actually go from 12 shells down to 10 shells, sticking with the 152s. So very interesting. 2 sets of 4 on each side for torpedoes. You know, the Mark 9 Mod 1. You got the Mark, what is it? Still the Mark 9s for torpedoes. Again, though, look how flat that side is. Look at that booty. Look at that flatness right there. Look how high it's sitting. I'm nervous about this, guys. I'm nervous. Are we looking at really, really fragile ships? Are we looking at snipers? Are we looking at pesky things? Maybe they'll be smoke to protect themselves. Who knows? I don't know. I'm nervous about this because the thing I keep going back to is the Indianapolis. Indianapolis, the tier 7 premium ship for the USN line. It sits very high in the water, it's very flat on the sides, and that thing will get citadeled all over the place. And I know everyone's like, okay, yes, of course, every kind of cruiser does. But this is almost the entire line. It's starting at 6 or 7. So we will see. Let's check out the armor. Relatively decent armor, 101, actually down from the tier 9. So hopefully it's got some decent range. Hopefully it can kind of stay away from stuff. But all in all, I'm excited. The Minotaur. The tier 10 Minotaur for the Royal Navy line, really, really cool. Look at all that. Look how badass that looks. That's pretty cool. I'm excited. Hopefully this adds a new playstyle to the game. I'm loving how Wargaming is throwing these different kind of ships like the Scharnhorst, like the Dunker, these special ships that don't play like everything else. I'm really liking this. Adds a lot of mixture to the ships, and I'm pretty hyped for this. So the Royal Navy line, I know a lot of people are excited for this line to get out. So guys, feel free to go hop on to the World of Warships public test server. It is free. All you have to do is kind of set up an account. Like I said, I'll add a link down below, and you can set up in almost no time. You got to download a separate downloader, so that'll take the longest. But really, really excited about this line to hit. No set date on when these are going to hit, but hopefully soon TM. Hopefully that'll be TM right there. And we're excited. More cruisers to get into the game, more cruisers to have fun with, and I can't wait. Hopefully the line's really good. If it's really bad, I'll be sad, but I doubt it. I'm sure it'll be solid. So until next time, guys, enjoy World of Warships. Hop on the public test server, get some free stuff, and we'll see you guys out in the water. Peace.